that's one of those things that bothers me so much about property taxes, that if you like
Do anything.
you buy a house, you make improvements
For
on that
yourself.
house. Yeah, for you put that money in, like it's your investment, all that kind of stuff. And then now the government says, "Oh, well, you finished your basement. Well, now actually your property's worth more, and therefore we deserve more taxes from you." Right? Like, like things like that.
Yeah.
Like, I hate property taxes, and I obviously we talked about this in the tax episode. I get that it's probably one of the larger driving forces in tax revenue for municipalities, but the way that you do it, it's just like, the worst, right?
Because you times 8,000 times just even 10,000 households.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And, That's
It-
not
it-
a lot
it
in a
adds up.
municipality.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah. But yeah, it's also like, so property taxes. You can make an argument that it's not necessarily what you see in terms of the sticker price for when a house is being bought or sold, right? But it's kind of the cost of owning that house that plays into why property taxes are important for understanding why houses are so expensive. It's like if you have, well, actually, I think we might have even talked about this the first time we recorded this episode. Sometimes when people win houses in like a lottery or something like that, they end up selling the house either back to the lottery or just in general because they can't afford
The payments.
like property taxes
Yeah.
that are associated with it.
Happens.
Because again, if I win a mansion, right, even if I didn't pay a single dime on that mansion, right, that I don't have, like, let's say that you don't have to actually pay the kind of consumer taxes associated with it. It's just the property taxes. Depending on what you do for a living,
That
those
could still
property
be insane,
taxes
yeah.
are going to be,
Yeah.
right? Like you could be paying $10,000 a month in property
Yeah, like a
taxes.
million-
and you're like, what?
$1 million,
I only make 2,000.
cottage
No,
in
not
Muskoka.
2,000, but you know what I mean,
Yeah.
right?
But I
Yeah.
feel like $1 million, like, what is it? Those Princess Margaret ones?
Yeah, those whatever,
You could
the
end
$5
up-
million
you
home,
could be like,
like
someone
cottage.
making like $50K a year, end up
Yeah.
buying a $3 million
When-
cottage. And
Yeah,
it's like, well,
that
I'm
has-
gonna be stuck with the transfer payment on it and the property
Yeah.
payment. It's like, how is that even doable?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, you're better off selling the place and just pocketing
and that's
the money.
often what happens, right? Yeah. So yeah, right. Like it's a bit of a hidden cost in some ways because it's not automatically that you look at that when you're like, oh, this house is on sale, or not on sale, but is on the market for X amount of dollars. But yeah, the property taxes definitely are going to be a huge thing that affect it, and of course that's government. And it's also, there's sometimes different reasons for why property taxes are what they are, right? So obviously we talked about, like, yeah, if you improve your house, your property taxes can go up, meaning that your taxes might be greater than the person that's literally next door because you renovated something.
You put in a toilet.
Yeah, exactly, right? They did the bathroom. Then you also have situations where, so again, I think we might have talked about this the last time when we recorded this episode the first time, where your parents live, because it is considered more of a higher end.
It's like a quiet suburban.
There's a little bit more luxury oriented municipality, right? There is a bit of a demand that the municipality makes on its citizens that says, as a whole, regardless of regardless of the type of house that you live in, right? It's not like everyone in Oakville lives in a mansion.
Yeah.
But if you want to live in Oakville, you have to pay a little bit more just to be a part of this society. You know what I mean? Right? Like, so that it's like, oh, we're going to put money into improving the harbor and like all of these, like, I don't know, whatever you want to look at for a place like that.
Yeah.
They justify it and say, hey, this is a sought after place to live, and therefore we're going to make sure that the baseline of property taxes is higher than, say, somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's like even a municipality or two
Next thing,
away
it could be
from
adjacent,
Yeah.
even. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And then you can also have the flip side of that, where it'd be something like where I live, because of the fact that there's a lot of social welfare that is connected. Like, so I live in Oshawa. Not all of Oshawa, like if you looked at where I live, it's not very rough or anything like that. But Oshawa as a whole does require a lot of support. Like there's a lot of homeless people. There's a lot of
Yeah.
low income people. Like, so there's a lot of social welfare that goes into that. And of course there's a huge cost that comes with that. And so the municipality says, okay, regardless, again, you could be very poor in Oshawa, but your property taxes are all going up because of those reasons, because everyone's going to have to pay a bit of a larger share, so to speak, to support those expenses. So in the one scenario, it's about kind of maybe like improving on a superficial level of the municipality, and then there's the flip side where it's like my side, where it's like we're trying to stay afloat, so
we need we're still gonna take more.
We have a lot of different expenses that are coming in. So yeah, property taxes are definitely going to make things as a whole more expensive, right?
Major factor.
Because,
yeah.
I would love to know the statistics on how often municipalities lower property taxes. You know what I mean? Like,
Probably
I feel like it's one of those
any.
things that's like, yeah, maybe they don't raise property taxes, but I don't know about the lowering aspect, right?
They don't. But it has.
What was that?
I was like, I'm wondering, like, if anyone ever has.
Yeah, probably, right?
Right?
Like, I would assume probably not.
Yeah.
You're like, they're used to it, right? But yeah, so the next kind of point, right? Because I think we've covered enough of property taxes, and arguably, I think this is going to be one of the biggest factors, or I should say, the biggest impact that government has when it comes to influencing the housing market, and that's